What's up, Cowboy?
Best of the
Commander.
We are
Got no reference.
What's the plan? GSL. In the service of ire.
It is time for the final match here at Code A. This is the round of 48 this season, GSL Code S.
So far we've seen 3 best of 3s who are really, really exciting, and now we have the final best of 3 at our hands. We have Flash up against Killer.
And I have to say, all the foreign fans' hairstyles today are looking good. Especially that guy on the far right. But it's time. It's really time. Like, let's take a look at our last results. Naniwa falling 0-2 to STX Mini. You see that ST, I think, Startail, but STX Mini will face the winner of this match.
Exactly. When the Code A bracket was released, a lot of players were hoping for a second round match between Naniwa and Flash. It's not gonna happen as Mini advances, so the winner of this next game is going to face the STX Protoss. They might have a PvP or a PvT, depending on who comes out ahead after this best of 3. Flash already in the lobby. He is ready to go. And we are waiting for Killer, who seems a little bit scared to enter the lobby.
Yeah, he has declined the lobby invite twice, but look at his stats. Falling from up and down matches, a decent performance in his group. His overall record, though, is pretty low. Look at Flash's record. It says none. This is his first performance in a GSL league. And so far, so good. He did not drop a single map in his qualifier run.
Exactly. He won against Sky High in a TVT. He took down a Zerg player when he faced Horror. And in the final, he won against another Casper Zerg against Su. So Flash here so far with a perfect record. But can he maintain this record today in the first round of Code A? Will he advance to the second round, or will he drop out and have to requalify once again? We'll find out soon enough. Killer, of course, he wants to take this, and guys, you can be sure he practiced a lot for
He
this.
really did, man. He's up against Flash, someone who's arguably one of the most... I mean, Boxer's the most famous StarCraft figure there's ever been, but in contemporary StarCraft, like postmodern StarCraft, Flash is like the guy everyone's talking about. Of course, Jaedong is kind of like his rival. We're talking about Flash today, though. Killer was such a good player in StarCraft 1 as well, and he's been a little bit shaky recently. He moved back to MVP, showing he really wants to keep practicing hard right now.
And the thing is, if you are actually faced with Flash in your first round match, then this has to give you the extra motivation to train hard, because, you know, it's not only about winning the first round of Code A, but at the same time is about prestige.
Yeah.
Flash has shown good results in the OSL. Now he plays in the GSL in the first round, and of course Killer wants to be the one who sends him down into Code B, wants to be the one who claims victory here, especially after joining MVP.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how Killer has improved and changed his practice schedule since joining MVP. Up against Flash, though, the KT Terran, he's got so many good training partners to work with there. He comes from an insane background where he is actually considered the most respected player on his team. He's even got Clyde helping him out over there, so...
One of the things that we know at this point for sure is that apparently Jaedong is more sexy than Flash, because the fan bus with the fangirls has not arrived just yet. We have a couple of them at the studio, but it's just no comparison to what is actually going on here when Jaedong is playing.
Well, I have to say that there's still 14 minutes left before this match is supposed to be scheduled to be played, based on estimations on the website, so maybe in 14 minutes they all show up, going crazy. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe some people just want to show up. They don't want to watch him play his games. They don't care about that. They just want to swarm around him when he's done.
Yeah, well, maybe. But so far, the fangirl favorite is definitely Jaedong.
Yeah.
But Flash has, of course, a couple of fangirls here as well. This is something that we've seen this morning when we had the early group. We had a couple of Casper players actually losing their games, and they had girls here that gave them presents, gave them candy and sweets.
Cakes. I saw cakes.
Yeah.
This one guy's like balancing like all these cakes and stuff. He's like, "Thank you guys. I don't know how I can go home now."
It was in the match against Shine, and Shine, the winner of the match, was actually just standing there all alone, and nobody really cared about him. I felt a little bit sorry for him.
It's like, "Excuse me, Shine, can you take a picture with me of my player?" Shine's like, No?
hey, I won, okay? No, it didn't really happen that way, but the story about the presents is definitely true.
No,
so
it's true, yeah.
It was pretty amazing, really interesting to see. But now, of course, we are focusing on another Casper player. We are focusing on a Flash. Killer so far is not in the lobby. He might have a couple of problems with his booth. He, of course, prepared everything already early on. Maybe there's a problem with the sound or with the settings that he has. But as soon as those are fixed, we are going into the first map. Do we actually know what the first map is going to be? It's already been hosted. I think
it's Daybreak.
Should be Daybreak. No,
but
it's actually Whirlwind.
Whirlwind, actually. So
yeah, Whirlwind is the map that we are going to start today. And Flash has left the lobby. Okay,
I don't know where he thinks he's going. You gotta beg. Everybody's leaving the lobby. I'm like, well, we can still have a fun party. It'll still be cool.
You know, they're just trying to drag it out. They know exactly that a lot of the viewers who are currently watching this live have been tuning in, especially for Flash games. So right now, apparently, there are a couple of problems with Killer's PC. He might actually have to change booths here. I'm not sure if we are heading into another break or if this issue will be resolved very soon so that we can just wait for it. But yeah, right now we don't have a single one of those players, so it could actually be that Flash has decided to give it another run and playing a test game and just trying his settings once again, just warming up before the game starts.
Well, I like to ask you other questions like this sometimes when we have downtime like this. What do you feel about the recent change to the battle handle where it's now classified as a biological unit?
Catching me a little bit off guard, but I really think it's a little bit weird, especially that you can heal it with a Hellion right now, and I've heard that the thing that you can actually put them into a bunker is a bug that has to be fixed very soon. But yeah, it's a little bit odd though.
I think it's strange. I get the idea, but I think that, like, especially lore-wise, I'm like, well, why can you heal it when it's standing up, but you can't heal it when it's down then? Seems weird. Seems weird. I'm
not sure what happened there, but yeah, about the Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm in general, we will also
There's going to be a ton of changes.
Right now they change a lot. I really like that they were not afraid to take the Warhound out of the game, so that's definitely something that they needed to do. And right now we have a bit of an update, so apparently the problems with Killer's PC will be resolved very soon, and Flash is probably going to join the lobby in just a few seconds. To be honest, they're just trying to drag it out a little bit because they know exactly that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, well, Killer is joining the lobby.
Yep, Killer is here, so now we're waiting for Flash. He should be here in a second. And I'm really interested to see how Killer has improved. We talked about this already. It's always one of the things if you don't live in the team house, and that was the case when Killer was playing for Complexity.
Yeah.
So, not taking anything away from the team itself, we see Hart doing really, really well for Complexity, but Killer apparently, is he one of those players who really thrives in the environment of a team house? That's something that we are going to see very soon. He has a lot of training partners that he can practice with for this match in particular, and we are ready to go, Wolf.
Yeah, it's ready, it's time.
Here we have them.
Flash versus MVP Killer. The countdown has started. Flash adjusting his chair just one more time. He already measured with his ruler, which is on his desk right now, where everything is supposed to be. And look
Killer
at that.
Is looking like he's going to club.
Look at his new... it's been a while since I've seen him in an MVP jersey. It's been so long. He's looking really good. Looking really slick, in fact.
The map is loading, ladies and gentlemen. StarCraft 2, the GSL, and the debut of Flash, the Terran player for KT. Here we go. Map number 1 is Whirlwind. Here at the GSL round of 48. Killer versus Flash, brought to you by Colin Wolf. Starting to the top left, we have the Protoss player starting in the red, the former Complexity Protoss. Now starting for Team MVP, it is...
MVP Killer.
There he is. Liking the new style. The hair has been re-dyed. It's got a little trim cut. Looking a little bit red there.
Looking stylish and really determined to defeat his opponent at the bottom left. His first best of 3 in the GSL in the round of 48. We have the KT Terran. It is...
KT Flash.
And this guy is so strong. Such a fast player. Excellent reaction time.
Flash was able to qualify through the Codec qualifier. We mentioned it earlier. He didn't drop a single map throughout the bracket. He defeated Sky High, Horror, and Sue. On the other hand, we have coming from the up and downs his opponent, his Protoss opponent, Killer. who has been struggling in the past a little bit, is now up against a legend. Will Killer be able to take this series? In the recent past, he's not been doing too well against Terran, but now he is once again practicing in a team house environment. How much did he improve?
Well, Songo has been studying Flash since the old days, and he knows that Flash will go Command Center first in all types of situations. He's playing Bloodbath and Brood War, he still goes Command Center first, he doesn't care, but Killer has, after studying this, decided he wants to go Nexus first. This is a massive map, so the chances of Flash doing anything but a Command Center first are so low.
Killer, especially in his up-and-down matches, was overwhelmed by every single Terran player that he faced. He lost to Supernova, he lost to Happy, he lost to Marine King, he also lost to Hard. He only was able to win at the IAM Cologne against Strelok, and also lost the series against Puma, so really struggling in this matchup, but he has been practicing a lot for this game, up against Flash, one of the best Brood War players there is, and now we will find out if Flash is able to best Killer in this PvT. And this is a series that a lot of people are really curious about. I talked to a lot of coaches about the series, about the match, and they said that they would expect Flash to take the series, but they can't really judge how much Killer has improved the team house environment. He's playing for Team MVP right now. Has this increased his skills against Terran, or will he fall victim to Flash's micro and macro?
That's what we're going to see. Killer is just now transitioning normally, getting his core up, getting his gate, and Flash has gone to double barracks. No gases for him just yet, however.
And a double scout. He sends one SCV to the bottom right and realizes that Killer is not spawning there, sends out another Harvester to have the scouting information, and he will be there just in time to get a good look at the expansion and of course also at the main base.
He wants to make sure he's not about to get four-gated or anything unusual like that, so wants to see as soon as possible. He will see now the timing of the Nexus means it is a Nexus first, sees the gates here as well, so all information given to Flash. Killer, on the other hand, has not sent a single scouting probe. Totally blind right now. He has no idea which location his opponent spawned at, even.
And at this point, what you can also tell is that we have... Oh, there's the third command center, by the way, for Flash immediately. Yeah. But no kind of shenanigans going on. What we've seen when the StarCraft, when the Brood War players actually started to transition into StarCraft 2 was a lot of GSL players try to execute a timing attack, a very aggressive build, because they try to face the Brood War players with strategies that they weren't too familiar with something that put them under a lot of pressure. But now most of the Brood War players have been quite experienced with StarCraft 2 already. They've been playing in the OSL, they've of course been practicing a lot. Pro League just finished the last season where we had Brood War. They can fully focus on StarCraft 2 right now, which is exactly what they do. And we've seen amazing strategies by the Brood War players so far.
Yeah, we have. Flash, for example, one of the first players to figure out that even if you go Command Center first, add a bunch of barracks, you can still pull your SCVs off 2 Command Centers, hit a powerful timing attack against a Cross who's trying to be a little bit greedy, compensate for the fact he went for a faster Command Center. Killer with an interesting placement of 2 of his structures. He's got his Robotics 4-Bay all the way to the far left of his main. He's got his Robo at his natural, which means he can rally it to his natural a little bit faster. Plus, it's a little bit harder for Flash to scan and spot.
I'm a little bit sad that we won't see a round 2 game between Flash and Naniwa, no matter how this game is going to end, because Naniwa lost to Mini. The reason being is that Flash actually practiced a couple of games with Naniwa when he was preparing for his match against Marine King.
Yeah, and this is, of course, going to be useful against someone like Killer as well.
MC, of course, sorry.
Yeah, but this is useful when he's practicing against... Naniwa, it's also helpful for against Killer. They're both Cross players, and I would say actually Naniwa and Killer have somewhat similar styles. Will Killer actually just add gateways and attack with this Colossus? That's the question. He's already added the gases at his natural.
And so, talking about Colossus, we have the Robotics Bay now, and it has not been scouted. There has been a scan by Flash, but he does not see that there's a Colossus transition.
Yeah, that's why it's so cool where he's placed these. He's getting range now, and he's Colossi. I think we may see him add gates fairly soon. He may just decide to go for a big attack. That's not surprising at all to see that from Killer. We do see double E-base coming up as well as the factory, so Flash getting his starport a little bit late, which means he will likely not have Vikings for this if it comes to the attack.
And at this point, there's no reason for him to add Vikings. He will start, of course, with the Medivacs, but we already have the first Colossus on the map, whereas the starport is not even halfway done. So here come the next gateways for Killer. He will go for an attack here, adding 4 gateways already. And this is just an attack that we've seen very, very often. Yeah. Squirtle was one of the first players who really started to execute a timing attack with 2 bases with 2 to 3 Colossi. We've seen it at IPL for where he ended up taking second place, alive, the only Terran player who was able to beat him.
Yeah, very true. Killer is starting to move out now. Second Colossus is rallied. Range is getting very close to being done. Flash still has no idea. He's going to start Medivacs first. As he moves his third command center over. Third command center is not going to be a concern. Actually, the thing is, his command center may spot the forward pylon of Killer, and that will tip him off a little bit. He has not salvaged his bunkers yet, but he's moving out of them.
Uh-oh, he has to be really careful here. He sees one Stalker. That's all that he sees. The rest of the army of Killer is to the top left. And Killer is ready to attack. The bunkers have not been salvaged. Range is done. Here come the Medivacs. No Vikings.
Now, right now, the army supply 38 to 37, but with the Warpins, that is going to change 6 Stalkers here.
The factory is going in to scout this, and Flash moves his command center back. He knows about the attack. Here come the Stalkers, and Flash is going to try to defend against this. Already has his decent position to repair the bunkers.
Immortals, though, are going to rip through those shields on the bunkers so quickly. He's targeting down the second one, but actually both of them survive. Flash with the repair here. His Mirage in the back, not able to do any damage, but I think Killer may have lost too many of his units right now. The first 2 Vikings are on their way. He's about to have a total of 4 bunkers, and once the Vikings are out, and he's going to have 1-1 and common shields. Everything lines up correctly here for Flash.
Killer's a little bit too greedy, trying to kill both bunkers at a time, not focusing down one, and therefore he is way too much delayed with the attack. And right now he lost already quite a lot. He's down in supply, and one of his Colossi is to the top. He doesn't rally it correctly to the rest of his army. Killer is in trouble here. He lost already a lot of resource, and he's just not able to break through. The first Vikings are now available to the Terra player.
He's that Colossus join his army now has rallied in here, but there are 5 bunkers, and more Vikings are coming through. Killer has restarted pro production, but he doesn't have even forges up. He doesn't have a Twilight Council.
And here comes the next attack. This time he's going for it. He's trying to focus on the bunker. The bunker dies. All those force fields helped, of course, to shut down the repair by the SCVs, but Killer is not really able to break through. There are just too many bunkers left.
The next 2 Vikings about to come out as well. He's lost a lot of hit points on his units. Flash has all the upgrades he needs. The last one, of course, is going to be concussive shells coming out here. Killer starts double forges as he knows he has to back up.
This attack was not successful. He knows that he cannot break through. Therefore, the double forge goes down. The Twilight Council, he wants to get those upgrades. But now we have Flash in a position where he has this command center, and he's moving it straight to the mineral line. He wants to harvest from 3 mineral lines, which has been spotted. Killer has an observer in his opponent's base, but suddenly Flash is in such an amazing position.
That even supply blocks Killer here. Got a huge army supply lead. Salvages his bunkers, taking out another pylon. Killer, he's probably not going to be able to hold this third Nexus if Flash doesn't want him to.
Flash also has the double upgrades already available. He's getting the Armory right now, one of the buildings that he didn't get in time because he was busy defending against Killer's onslaught. But his upgrades are still decent, and as soon as the Armory is done, he will start with +2/+2 and still be ahead of Killer in regards to upgrades.
Yeah.
Even a second starport now being built to enable him getting Medivacs and Vikings, or just enable him to react against his opponent, tech switches as fast as possible.
The attack that we are seeing right now from Flash is going to be something that Killer knows that it's going to be virtually impossible for him to hold in his third. That's why his army side is natural. Right now the Viking count is 9. There are 17 Marauders and 27 Marines on the map. Only 4 Colossi. He's trying to switch into that Templar tech. He's not even making any more Colossi right now. We'll likely start his Templar Archives very soon, but he can't do that and hold his third Nexus very easily. So he kind of has to take a risk one way or the other, and the risk he's taken is trying to hold the Nexus. It completes now. Flash is not actually going for the attack. He's just holding the Watchtower. So this means Killer actually will get that third base up, but that aside, it's very late.
Yes, he's late with the upgrades, he's late with the Nexus. He's now just starting to mine from the third mineral line, and at this point, of course, Flash's income is so much better. He's now starting to move out, and a scan might reveal the observer, but he doesn't realize that there's one. He scans ahead, though, and sees exactly what Killer has to defend. Flash is now in a great position. Ahead in army, ahead in overall supply, the better economy, and better upgrades.
Yeah, the upgrades, though, about to even up with Killer. He's chrono boosting very rapidly here. He can actually catch up and pass Flash if he continues to hit those chronos. A ton more production being added for Flash right now, who's already started quadruple Viking production. He's making 4 at a time. He's got to be careful, though, not to overproduce, because Killer's not making any more. He stopped at 4. And right now he's about to hit 17 Vikings versus 4 Colossi. Kind of on autopilot here, I feel.
At the same time, Killer starts the +2/+2, and as you already said, there are now even upgrades, and if Killer gets those Chronos, he will be ahead. But now the stim has been used, and those Colossi, they are going to die. There's just no way for Killer to save them. There are way too many Vikings, but he forces Flash back. The Stalkers are not following suit, though, and all those Zealots are evaporating.
Zealots just went away. He actually baited all the Stalker fire on the Vikings. Now Flash doubles Killer's supply. He is going for the attack now. There's no Colossi to save. Only one appears just now.
Flash is like a pain train rolling over Killer. Another stim being used, and he's moving in
through the Stalkers. The last Colossus fight going back. Marauder stim and chase. He takes it out. The Viking flies in as a victory flagship. GG!
Flash taking game number 1. Killer not able to make his attack timing work against the bunkers of Flash. Flash repairing well. Killer only able to take down one of them. Loses too much. Too many of his gateway units die before he can break through the second one. And from this point on, Flash takes the initiative and takes the game. And just look at Killer here. He is really down.
Yeah, he really is. He still looks really good with that haircut, but
that won't help him.
Yeah, that mentally, it's not going to help him. You can't see his reflection in there, so how is he even supposed to know? I think at this point, Keldor Flash is looking unstoppable. Every opponent he's faced so far, he has ripped through without dropping a single set. And in that last game, you could argue he overmade Vikings, but the way he used them, a lot of people will try to micro against Colossi. He actually just threw all the Vikings forward, baited the Stalkers in, and the Stalkers fired at the Vikings, but not at the Bio. Bio killed all the Zealots, and that was the big problem.
His army was split. He fought the Vikings with the Stalkers, and all the Zealots were following the Bio army, and Flash just killed every single one of these Zealots, and then he only had to deal with the Stalkers. So the Vikings definitely a bait that Killer took, and he was not able to take down the army of Flash. Too much DPS in this Bio army. Now we're heading into game number 2. It's gonna be on Cloud Kingdom. Killer up against Flash in the second game. Will Flash get into the second round of Code A without dropping a map, or will Killer force a third game?